Hey guys, Bella here, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about my first week on the drug Ozempic. This is a once weekly injection that helps with your appetite, insulin resistance, and it's been prescribed for people with diabetes and now it's being prescribed off-label for weight loss. And I'm going to talk about my experience with this, the side effects that I've had in the first week, the weight loss that I've had in the first week. So just to give you a little bit of background information about me, I am 5 foot tall and I was weighing about 180 pounds when I started my first dose of Ozempic. My aunt actually told me about this drug because she has a similar build to me and we were at similar weights when we were at our highest and lowest weights. So she told me that she thought that this could be something for me. And this is something that I researched heavily before going into it. I don't think that anyone who is taking this drug should be taking this as a first line of defense when it comes to weight loss. I think that obviously you should try and count calories and exercise and things like that. But for me, I have been religiously counting calories for about 2 years now and exercising 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes every day of the week, and just being overall very frustrated with my weight loss stalling and just not seeing any kind of major improvements despite focusing a lot of my time and energy into losing weight and not seeing any progress. And in the past, I thought that people who couldn't lose weight were just not trying hard enough, but now that I am in this boat where I believe that I have PCOS and I believe I'm struggling with insulin resistance, it is a lot different of a thing trying to lose weight when you have all of these other factors working against you. So for me, it felt like every time that I ate, I felt like I was always hungry afterwards, like I could never get enough food. I remember making my plate several times in the past couple of months and just feeling like, is this all that I really get to eat for the calories that I'm consuming? And just a lot of frustration. And I can already feel some of that being lifted just from the first week of being on this drug. So the biggest thing that this drug has done for me is it has curbed my appetite and made it to where I'm not able to eat as much. Food is really not a reward for me anymore, and it seems crazy to say that after only being on the drug for a week, but honestly it's been difficult to eat this past week. I've had nausea, I've had headaches, I've had fatigue, and a lot of that has contributed to having a lack of appetite. I noticed when I ate breakfast this morning, I made my usual amount that I always have, but I was not able to finish it, and that has been a trend this past week of me making the amount that I always have and then just not feeling like I want to finish it. So I've not been finishing my food. I've just been eating as much as I can and then just leaving the rest and throwing it away or giving it to the dogs. So my doctor did put me on the smallest dose of Ozempic, which is 0.25 per week. I don't know when I will go up to 0.5, maybe in the next month or so. I am meeting with my doctor monthly to monitor my progress with this. I'll be honest, I was a little bit scared to actually give myself the shot because I don't know, I just don't like needles. Who likes needles? So my boyfriend gave me the first dose of this, and then the other day I gave myself the second dose, and I was proud because I was a brave little girl and I took the dose by myself. And I will say that the nausea seemed to be the worst right after I took the dose. For about an hour after I took it, I felt nauseous. So I'm going to be taking Dramamine. I'm going to take this about an hour before I take my dose from now on because I feel like this helped me after I took the dose. I would go for the less drowsy kind because if you get regular Dramamine or Dramamine, however you want to say it, it can definitely knock you out and make you go to sleep. But I'm going to be taking this. I also found it helpful to keep some Tums around because even though normally I ate the same amount that I usually eat, I was feeling sick to my stomach afterwards, and these seem to help a little bit with the stomach issues. I know part of me feels like I'll get used to it after a little while, but I'd rather be proactive in treating my symptoms than having to, go to the store in the middle of the night or something like that. So if you are thinking about going on this drug, I would highly recommend getting some of these things. I'm also taking a digestion, like a probiotic gummy, and this is something that I feel like I'm doing also to be proactive because a lot of people said that they have digestion issues. I'm just taking this once daily, and I haven't really had any of the issues that I'm seeing people complain about. One of the things about this drug is that everyone has different side effects. So if you go on a Facebook group looking at all the side effects, you're going to see some of the worst case scenarios because those are the people who are posting about their side effects. So really, I don't look to have anything super bad happen with this drug. The worst thing so far has just been not being able to enjoy food the same way that I usually have. And I think honestly at the end of the day that's probably a good thing because that is a lot of my problem when it comes to food, is using it as a tool for me to calm down or as a tool to celebrate. So I'm really just hoping that this drug can help me change my overall relationship with food. So I mentioned that I have nausea. Sometimes I have it when I don't eat soon enough, like if I wait too long to eat, like 6 or 7 hours and I haven't eaten, I'll find that I have nausea. But then sometimes I get nausea right after I've eaten, like if I feel like I ate too much. I did go out to eat not too long ago, and I was wanting a burger like so bad, but I just wound up getting a salad because I felt like it was going to make me feel even worse. So I will say that Ozempic is sort of training me to make better choices when it comes to having to deal with nausea after you eat. You don't want to eat anything that's going to make you feel sick for the rest of the day. The other side effect that I have been dealing with has been fatigue, and I will say that this is something that probably would be worse if I had a 9-to-5 job, but since I work from home and I work for myself, it hasn't been that hard to manage because I can just go back to sleep. However, I did sleep like 13 hours last night, and that's really out of the realm of what I normally sleep. I usually sleep 7 to 8 hours, sometimes 9 hours occasionally, but for the most part, I'm a 7 to 8 hour sleeper. And I've noticed that I'm really tired during the day sometimes on this drug. It also could be that I'm consuming less calories, so I have less overall energy. And so I feel like a lot of that has come into play. And the other side effect that I have dealt with has been a headache. This was more during the first couple of days of being on Ozempic. I had like a low grade headache for about 2 to 3 days, despite drinking a ton of water. I've been drinking a lot of water while being on Ozempic because they told me that that was, something that I needed to stay ahead of. This can make you feel dehydrated. So I've been drinking about 100 ounces of water per day while on this. So I do want to talk about what I am eating because obviously that does matter. Overall, what your diet consists of is going to determine how much weight you lose. I still believe in calories in, calories out to some extent. I just realized that it may be different for different people's bodies to process. So for me, I'm eating about 1,500 to 1,800 calories per day. I'm assuming that that will go lower once I'm on a higher dose of Ozempic, but right now, with my appetite being suppressed the way it is, I'm finding it pretty easy to stick to around 1,600 to 1,700 calories a day on average, but I've had some lower days and I've had some higher days. I will say I'm drinking a lot of protein shakes. I love these Premier protein shakes. They're not exactly cheap, but I just have been having this instead of breakfast most days. Today, I goofed up and tried to eat a bowl of cereal for breakfast, and then I felt terrible for like several hours afterwards, and I was wishing that I had just had my original protein shake. And the one thing I like about these is that they are 160 calories. They're 4 carbs, so you don't have a lot of the sugar that other protein shakes have, and they're 30 grams of protein. So that's another thing, is I've been trying to get a lot of protein in my diet because I know that that will help keep me full longer, especially since I'm not having as many calories as I was having before. So I think that if you go on this medication and you don't really change anything about the way that you eat, and then you go back off the medication, you're probably not going to see sustainable results. So I feel like if you are trying this, you should be trying to, work in some swaps that make sense. When I say swaps, I mean like, for example, if I'm going out, shopping or something and I want to bring a snack, I'm trying to think about mindful things like I can bring maybe a cheese stick and a piece of fruit instead of like the granola bar that's, 40 grams of sugar and it acts like it's healthy on the marketing, but really it's just sugar. I'm trying to make some swaps in areas in my life like that. I do drink almond milk. I drink the 30 calorie almond milk. So instead of drinking like 130 calorie regular milk, I'll drink the almond milk. Now, as far as working out goes, I have been working out still. I worked out 2 times this past week, so not as much as I normally work out. I usually work out about 3 times a week, but overall, I did go on some walks that lasted about an hour, and I felt fine during those. I didn't feel any kind of, fatigue during those. I'm just trying to kind of listen to my body at this point and just do what I feel like feels good in the moment and not push myself too far, because I know that as long as I am, eating lower calories, I am going to continue losing weight. So I guess that you guys probably want to hear about the weight loss. I don't want to emphasize that because only on the first week of being on a drug or being on the first month of a drug, you really shouldn't focus too much on weight loss. You should focus more on habits and building those patterns that can provide you long-term success. But as far as my weight goes, I was around 181-ish when I started this Ozempic journey, and now I'm at like 178.8, I believe, or something around that range. I'll post it up on the screen so you guys can see it. But overall, I use the app called Happy Scale because it uses a moving average of your weight. It doesn't give you your exact weight every single day. You put in your exact weight and then it tracks a moving average. So as long as my little line is going in the right direction, I know that I am going to see success. So far, I think I've been losing around a half a pound to 0.8 pounds per week. So overall for a month, that'll be about 2 to 3 pounds a month if I keep up that kind of pace. And it has been so difficult for me to lose that kind of weight just counting calories. This past month, August actually, I tried to count calories all month. I only lost 1 pound over the whole entire month. So, you know, it's really discouraging because I've been working on this all year. And if you look back on some of my previous posts and my previous videos, you can see that I really have struggled with my weight for a sustained amount of time. And of course, 1,000 people have suggestions for you in the comments of what you're doing wrong, but they have, you know, no real picture of what your daily life looks like. So, and I think it's easy to judge people for weight because it seems like kind of like a moral failure. Like, why don't you just eat less? So, you know, I've definitely been in that boat where I felt that way before, so I could understand why some people might feel that way. But now seeing the bigger picture with having a lot of the health issues that I have and just trying and seeing no success, I do feel more empathy with people who have tried to lose weight and failed. So back to what I am eating, I'm finding it easier to eat like 300 calories at a time and then just eat again, you know, 3 to 4 hours later or whenever I get hungry again, because one of the things that made me feel the worst was just overeating. I feel like this drug definitely is creating a loop for me when it comes to, like, if you eat too much, you will feel bad. So in a way, it's kind of training me to eat less. So I don't want to say that Ozempic is a miracle drug, but for me, as someone who has really struggled to lose weight and struggled with their appetite and just overall just feelings of like complete failure for not being able to lose weight, this drug feels like it is really something that has come into my life at the right time. I've realized that, like, you know, it's not necessarily my fault that I can't lose weight, and I feel like this drug is going to help me feel normal when it comes to my appetite and my hunger levels, because like I said, I've never really felt normal when it comes to food. I've always felt a lot of, like, I don't know, when people say they forgot to eat or they didn't eat lunch or something like that, I've always been confused because I've literally never forgotten to eat in my whole entire life. I've always felt like I didn't get enough food or, like, you know, I didn't have enough. So I feel like this will help me to create some better pattern loops in my head when it comes to food. I've struggled a lot with restrictive eating, cutting my calories, because, you know, that's what the internet says to do. The internet says eat 1,200 calories a day and you'll be skinny. But what usually happens was I would cut my calories a couple days and then I would end up binging because I was so hungry from the previous days of calorie restriction. So I'm really hoping to break out of that cycle. I don't want this to be a quick fix or some kind of fad diet. I really want this to be something that has longevity for me, and I can already tell just after taking 2 doses of this medicine that it is something chemical in your brain that, you know, maybe is not quite the same as other people that causes us to eat so much. So if you're in the same boat as me and you're just feeling bad about yourself for not being able to control yourself when it comes to food, just know that, you know, it may not necessarily be you, it may just be your chemical makeup and your body's overall makeup. So as for the cost of this drug, I may make a separate video about how to get the drug approved using telehealth, because I use telehealth. I did not feel comfortable going to my in-person doctor for this drug because in the past when I've brought up weight to my primary care and to my OBGYN, they've kind of brushed me off and made me feel like, you know, I was stupid for even asking about it, and just kind of made me feel overall uncomfortable. So I wound up going with a telehealth provider, and I really have liked it so far. The appointments are only $30 per appointment, and I was able to get my prescription sent over to my pharmacy locally, and my insurance covered it, and I wound up paying $25 a month for this prescription. So overall, we're looking at $55 a month if you count the doctor visit and the cost of the prescription. Now, obviously, this drug is very expensive and very new, so if you are not able to get it covered by insurance, you might want to look into some of the similar drugs on the market. But I will say, just look up your insurance plan and look up the drug specifically, and you can even call your insurance and ask, what does it take to get this particular drug approved? Are there similar drugs that you might approve? And, you know, just go from there. Don't read everything on Facebook and everything on Reddit, because a lot of those are just, they're specific to the person and the person's insurance plan. So just don't assume that you won't be able to get it covered just because somebody else didn't get it covered. Well, I'm going to finish my protein shake and get ready. I'm going to the fair tonight with my little sister from Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we're just going to have a fun time. I don't anticipate that I'm going to be able to eat very much fair food. Fried Oreos or funnel cakes are really out of the question for me, but maybe I'll get a bite of something. Maybe I'll get to just try a little bit of it. I am going to make an update video for you guys guys when I have been on this drug for 1 month. I will be kind of curious to see how much weight I've lost after a month. I'm predicting that I will lose about 3 to 5 pounds after a month total, and that's because I'm not going to make any drastic changes. I'm just going to continue counting my calories and trying to get enough protein and trying to stay active. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow along in this journey with me, you can always subscribe to the channel. I will be making a follow-up video, like I said, because I didn't see a lot of content about this drug on YouTube, and I feel like that's always a good thing if you can share some information with people that might help them. I really feel like a lot of women are ashamed when it comes to talking about weight loss and weight loss drugs and just overall health, and we blame ourselves a lot, and I don't want this to be that. I want this to be a supportive place for us to come and talk about this drug. So if you've tried it or you've thought about trying it, please leave a comment below and tell me about your experience. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Take care until then.